Call the meeting to order.
Miller,
Yes, sorry.
Nichols,
Yes.
Bond,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Nutt,
Yes.
First order of business is a presentation, the value of transportation improvements. MoDOT and Brian Hafner will be with us tonight.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your time, gentlemen. I'll try to be fairly brief. I am your MoDOT officials tonight. Paula was going to come, but she's been off in Warrenton all day and just wanted to get back home to her family, so I told her I could handle it. Hopefully you guys aren't going to be too tough on me. What I wanted to talk about tonight is our draft list of projects for the Constitutional Amendment 7 sales tax proposal. As you may be aware, the legislature has put a sales tax, 3/4% sales tax on the ballot for, it'll be in August 5th vote. So MoDOT's role in this is to develop a list of projects that would be funded with this sales tax. It's 10-year sunset on it, and so we've got a list of projects that would be built in the next 10 years. We have a public comment period that lasts until July 3rd. So this is the time for anybody that wants to have input on that list to make their concerns known. If you recall, several months ago, Steve Hobbs and I came, and Steve talked to you about the Highway 54 Corridor Coalition and their desire to have an upgraded 54 corridor from here to Louisiana. It's a need that's out there, a project that we'd like to see built. The sales tax originally was a 1-cent sales tax and was reduced in the legislature to 3/4 cent. And with that 3/4 cent, there's just not as much money available to us for the 10-year period as there would have been. So what happened is we really can't afford to do those big projects. If you look at this project list, it consists mostly of taking care of our existing system. So we've said before that with our gas tax, fuel tax revenue, a declining revenue stream, we cannot afford to take care of what we've got with today's funding going forward. This sales tax would allow us to continue to take care of what we've got and to do a few of those projects that are needed out there. If you look in Audrain County, the majority of the projects are bridge replacements and resurfacing projects, keeping our existing roads in good condition. There's also one project here in town at the intersection of Highway 15 and 22 to work with the city. There's some ADA improvements that need to be done there. So we've set aside some money for that project if this sales tax passes. So like I said, I wanted to be brief. You've got in your packet kind of a fact sheet about the sales tax itself. You've got the draft list of projects that covers the 17 counties in the Northeast District, and then a map that kind of shows what those projects are, and then also a card that gives you information on how to go about voicing your comments on this project list. So essentially, if you go to MoDOT's website, there's a moving forward link on there that will take you to the information. Includes the list for the entire state, includes the ability to put in online comments, or we'll take any comments that you might have. I can take them back with me. You can call 188-ASK-MoDOT and leave those comments as well. So with that, I'll open this up for any questions that the council may have.
I think one of the questions that I have heard is, what has happened? What's the primary reason your funding has been trending down?
The primary reason is that 70% of our funding comes from fuel taxes, and because of more fuel efficient vehicles, and every year new vehicles get a little bit more fuel efficient, and because people are actually driving a little bit less than they used to, that fuel tax revenue has declined each of the last 4 or 5 years. And we project that it's going to continue to keep going down. So with that alone, there's less money every year for transportation. And then when you account for the fact that the last time that our state fuel tax was raised was in 1992, when gas was about $1 a gallon, now it's $3.50 a gallon, you still pay that same 17 cents a gallon fuel tax, state fuel tax. So that tax is not increasing as the price of gas goes up. And then you also look at the costs of the asphalt and steel and concrete that we use to build and maintain roads, and those costs have doubled and tripled over that same time period. So the cost of everything that we have to use to build our roads goes up, our revenue stays the same or declines, And so eventually you get to the point where you just can't afford to take care of what you've got anymore. And that's where we're at today and going forward unless we have some new funding stream.
Thank you.
Why was it chosen to go with a sales tax rather than a fuel tax increase?
That I cannot answer. The state legislature put this amendment on the ballot. So it's not MoDOT's responsibility to determine how we're funded, but this list shows what we would build if those funds are available.
So this first page is what the list of stuff you're going to improve?
I'm sorry, this,
The very first page that we have. Is that the improvements that you're talking about improving or stuff you've already done?
these are what we would build with the new funding. So there's actually 5 pages of projects listed there.
How often do you repave a road like Route J, just as a question?
That's a great question, and it depends. The answer is it depends, but it depends on the amount of traffic, the type of subgrade that you've got underneath of it. Most of our minor roads that we keep as hot mix asphalt, we try to get on a cycle of about once every 15 years. So we'll put down an asphalt overlay on it and then do a cycle of chip seals. So if you look at Highway 15 just north of town here, we did an overlay on that 4 years ago, I believe. And we just did a chip seal on it this year. We'll do another one again about 5 years down the road, and then 7 years we'll resurface it again.
I think they just did Route J within the last 5 years.
Well, and you have to remember this is a 10-year project list, so
Okay.
sometime over
So
the
it
course
can't
of the
be
next 10
moved.
years.
Okay, all right.
The idea is to keep the roads in good condition and have the money to be able to do that.
So, I guess I'll just start asking questions.
Sure.
I'm concerned with this list because when I look at the numbers, basically you're going to take $11–12 million in money out of Mexico, Missouri in sales tax. And all we're really getting in return is some sidewalks. Whether we like it, whether you like it, we don't have a choice in it. Almost all of our main roads in this community are maintained by you and dictated by you. And basically what this plan tells me is for the next 10 years, we got what we got and that's it.
Well, one other thing that I need to point out that is not shown on the project list and not shown on the map is that our major road system, we will continue to keep that in good condition. So we have our existing revenue stream. That's not going away. Okay, so these are the things that we're going to do above and beyond what we can do with our current funding. So the Business 54, the 1522, we will continue to maintain those roads as well.
And
Okay.
and I understand that, but I mean, if it's a citizen and it's representative of the citizens, what are we getting for $12 million? And I don't see it here.
Okay.
I mean, I see some sidewalks and I see some resurfacing on J, which probably happen in 7–8 years from now. But I don't see anything as a citizen that would say, that's really going to help my city.
Yeah. And that's another great point, and probably something that I left out that I should have mentioned right at the beginning, is that this new sales tax funding, it's about $5.4 billion over 10 years. Of that, 5% goes to cities, 5% to counties. So the city will get some sales tax funding directly. So that takes us down to 10% off, so 90% is about $4.8 billion that would come to MoDOT. And of that $4.8 billion, we will spend $500 million of it on Interstate 70.
How did you
Okay.
guys determine how much you guys, I saw the lists for all the districts, I kind of, so how did they determine what district got what?
Okay, let me finish the first
Oh,
thought.
I'm sorry.
So I-70 is our economic lifeblood, not only for Mexico, but for the entire state. If I-70 wasn't there, there'd be a lot of issues with your industry and trucking here in town. So keeping I-70 in good shape and improving its capacity is important to the city of Mexico and even to Moberly and Macon and Kirksville and everybody north and east of here as well. So the city of Mexico will get something additional beyond just what's right here in town. As far as how the funding is distributed, it is based on our Highway and Transportation Commission's funding distribution formulas that have been in place for years. There's 2 separate pieces to it. One is for taking care of system, and then another for kind of flexible funding, expansion type work. these funds are being distributed by the flexible funds formula, which does give more weight to employment, population, and VMT. So if you look at where the people live, where the jobs are, that's where the majority of the funding would go.
And why did the Northeast District, out of all the districts, determine that the resurfacing was a priority over, I mean, because you guys, I mean, you look at the other maps and there's not anywhere near the kind of resurfacing maintenance projects. I mean, they've got some projects going on. And on our district, it seems like the majority of it is basically maintenance, maintaining and replacing.
The very big majority of it is going to maintaining and replacing. And again, it goes back to the way our state funding is distributed to the Northeast District. We get the smallest share. We get the smallest share of the sales tax. In order to be able to take care of what we've got to spend the majority of this new funding just on taking care of our existing system. Now, if you want to have more detail, we looked at, we were going through this process, and the process involved the 3 regional planning commissions in Northeast Missouri, Mark Twain, Boonslick, and Northeast Missouri RPC. And all 3 of those were involved in the process from the ground up, determining what are the needs, what should we be spending this money on. As we went through that process, we looked at the Highway 54 corridor. We looked at the Hannibal bypass. We looked at Highway 63 and the cost of those projects versus the amount of funding available. And if we did even one of those, say the Hannibal bypass is a $70 to $80 million project, that would have taken up 50% of these new funds. And then looking at the needs on our existing system, it was apparent that if we spent the majority of our money on something like that, we would start having to close bridges and roads would be falling apart, and it just wasn't the responsible thing to do. So that's why we ended up in Northeast Missouri. The amount of money that we get, the amount of needs that we have out there on our existing system, we just felt we had to spend it on those types of projects.
And then to switch gears to locally, on the 54 out there coming into town, has there been any movement on anything out there? And I don't know if you guys know or not, the new FQHC is going out there, which is going to have about 80, 90 employees, plus the VA clinic's going out there. So the traffic's going to increase
Exponentially.
Yeah, like
No.
you got a lot.
And
Yeah.
we're talking about the Business 54?
Yeah.
Yeah. We, in the last time that I came to talk to you, I think we talked about having a consultant look at the corridor. We still plan to do that. Our consultant funds are being squeezed, frozen, washed. So we've got a minimal amount of consultant funds available. Our new fiscal year starts in July, and so we do plan on obtaining a consultant once the new funds are there. So we'll look at the corridor to see if there are improvements that could be made. And I was not aware of a new restaurant going in.
No, the FQHC is a new kind of a clinic, hospital clinic.
Oh, okay.
And
Right.
the Arthur Center, do you know the Arthur Center here in town? They're consolidating all of their stuff into this. It's going to be a 25,000 square foot facility, and they have 96 employees. And they're consolidating everything, except they have like 15 that work in Fulton. And it's all going to be right there behind the new ambulance district. And then you have the VA clinic going right down the road from there. And so I was looking at some of the traffic numbers, and I'm like, that's probably going to add a lot.
Yeah.
And they have come to me with some concerns because they're dealing with people that, they have issues one way or another, and they're concerned about getting in and out of there with those people. So I just wanted to get an update where we were with that.
Yeah, and without this new funding, there's really nothing that I can do at all. With the new funding, there's a possibility perhaps in the future, but it may be something that we need to partner with the city on coming up with whatever that solution is.
I would say last thing is I would like to see the city and MoDOT work together more on stuff, like the truck route and stuff. I know we have concerns, the citizens have concerns, but you guys have concerns as well, and we'd like to do stuff, and it seems like sometimes we're butting heads on how we get stuff done. It's just an observation that maybe you can talk with Kinsey and work together, because we want to make our roads better. Like I said, you guys control the majority of our main arteries, so.
And I'm not aware of any issues that we've had, but we're glad to work with Kinsey or whoever, Bruce, anybody with the city to solve, you know, whatever issues you have, let us know, and we'll do what we can.
I wouldn't say they're issues, just the truck route, like putting up signs and stuff. It's like we probably would like bigger signs. I think that's all I got.
I do have kind of a comment and question. And Brian, I don't mean to shoot the messenger at all, okay? And Paula knew I was going to ask this, so.
Well, she didn't tell me, so.
Yeah. So it's kind of a comment and then leads to a question, okay? First of all, I mean, I certainly do understand the need for additional funding to address Missouri's transportation needs, okay? And I understand the need to maintain our current system. When I do look at this plan, I see that we really have more of what I call a maintenance plan. And I think it's important that we really look at a balance between maintenance, certainly, but also building for the future. And I'm not sure that I see a lot of projects, at least in our region, that increases that economic development opportunities and improve safety. I mean, we're dealing with a lot of overlay and maintenance issues and not necessarily improvements. And then that leads me to Highway 54 and some of the things we've been working with to improve the corridor from Mexico to Louisiana and to try to help not only improve the safety of it when we look at some of the corners that we have out there and traffic flows and all those things. So now kind of leads into the question about do you see any discretionary funding in this thing at all that we could start any portion of designating the 54 route, getting part of it started? Any help with that at all? Or otherwise, are we just really out of this thing for the next 10 plus years? And I think it would certainly go a long ways to help our community and the region and certainly everyone along the corridor if there was something that we could begin with this process.
That's a great comment and question. And understand that we are in the public comment period right now. So if you as an individual or you as a city council see a need that's not being met on this list, we need to know that. Okay? And if you feel that we're focused on the wrong things, we need to know that. So this is your opportunity to let us know whether this list is correct or not. Now, as far as I mentioned, the Hannibal Expressway is a $70 million project. There's really no way to do a part of that. So you have to have the whole bypass in order for it to function at all. There is a way to do a part of Highway 54. So we can do it at a lower cost. We don't have to build the whole thing all at once. So, you know, I can't say that there's an opportunity to do that with our existing funding or not. This is the draft list that we have developed today. It may change between now and July 9th is when our commission will approve the final list. But if you as a community have that kind of concern, we need to know about it.
But these are the things that the tax will be working on.
These are the things that will be constructed if
With the
that,
additional funding.
if that constitutional amendment passes in August.
Okay.
Yes.
That's kind of, because you said a while, and that's not throwing you at the bus or anything, but you said a while ago you were going to continue to do the improvements that we've always done, like Route E and Route J.
Well,
Yeah.
no, I said our major roads, we would continue the Highway 54, the Highway 22, although 22 is not a major road, but there are the higher volume roads that we have to continue to maintain. So what I said was we have our existing funding stream. We will continue to do what we can do with that to keep our roads in good condition, you know, as long as we can. But understand that with our existing funding, there are going to be things that we can no longer do, like the Route J, like the Route E, like replacing the bridge on Highway 15. Those are the things that we just don't have the money to be able to do going forward unless we had additional funds. So this list is what we would do if we had those additional funds. And it's keeping that road network, the J, the E, in good condition so we can keep not all of our, not just our major roads, but some of the minor roads resurface with hot mix and keep those going. And that also lets us, if we can keep those kind of roads in good condition, lets our maintenance forces focus on some of the other blacktop roads. So they've got a limited amount of resources they have available. If they don't have to spread their resources as far, it lets them do a better job.
I like this tax bill, a lot of them, so.
Council beans were certainly in the comment period, and I know Ron's been working on the 54 coalition with us as well. And Mary, you're just getting in with that issue, but if we could make any kind of a statement as a community to the effect that we've just talked about trying to see if there's some way to get 54 started, I think it would certainly be of benefit with this transportation plan. As we look at getting 54 going further to the east and tying it together, it's really finishing a project that's been started for years.
You're suggesting that as a community, we
I think
go
at least,
online
yeah,
and
I would like to think as a council, we at least authorize the mayor or myself or someone to say, can we make that kind of comment on behalf of the city and at least push that forward further? Because I know that will also be discussion at the 54 Coalition this week, at their monthly meeting.
I'd like to make that motion.
I would suggest we do that, so.
But you go talk to it. I'd like to make a motion that the council allows the mayor, or suggests that the mayor comments to the highway department about the need and the want for the ongoing discussion and building of the 54 corridor.
Second.
Miller,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Lush,
Yes.
I'll go get them.
Hopefully that'll give some direction to you to take back as well, and we'll certainly be able to go online and do that. Thank you.
Absolutely, I will do that. And again, I appreciate your time. If you have any other questions as we go forward about the list, and again, this is a draft. The final list will be approved by our commission July 9th. And at that point, things may change on here. So when I say these are the projects that we built, this is a draft. Once it's final, then that's what will be constructed with that sales tax fund.
Can I add one thing? First of all, I didn't mean to beat you up or anything. I got a lot of concerns. Second of all, whether it be the 54 corridor or whatever, I think you guys would benefit, especially in the state of Mexico, if you did something that Mexico citizens could look at. I mean, I know 70, but they're not going to connect with that very well. And then, thanks for everything you guys do. I mean, I know you guys work hard. We want to grow our community, and transportation is the key to doing that. So,
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Brian.
And I
Thanks.
also left extra copies of everything here with Marcy. So if any citizen wants to have one, you can leave them wherever. They're also all online, so modot.org/moving forward. And again, I thank you for your time.
Thank you.
thank you.
The next item of business is the approval of the minutes, June 9.
So moved.
Second.
Miller,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Lush,
Yes.
The next item is a public hearing to rezone property located at 415 Fairground from R2 two-family dwelling to I1 light industrial. And I move to open the public hearing.
Second.
Yes, sure.
Miller,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Lush.
I'm going to abstain since I'm a member of the Food Bank Advisory Board that's working on this.
All right, Your Honor. The comments that we will make this evening reference this property is for a future community project and on Fairgrounds, and to open the public hearing and give the details and the location. In this case, Rita is unavailable this evening, so Kinsey is going to be pinch hitting for Rita, and I'll turn to Kinsey at this time, to Kinsey Russell, to cover the details of the rezoning.
I didn't have anything to bring to the council tonight, and Rita was kind enough to share with me, so. This is public hearing. It is a rezoning. The property is the old trailer court property that is off of Fairgrounds, and the request comes from Wes Williams, who's been managing rental property there. The southeast corner of the property has been zoned R2 for some time. All the rest of the property has been zoned industrial, I-1. This request is to make all of the property zoned the same uniformly. It will be the future home for the help center for their new distribution warehouse facility, and it will be helpful for them in the long run. Planning and zoning did hear the request, and they were unanimous in their support of it. The notices were sent out according to our ordinances. There were no comments received from surrounding property owners. With that,
Alan is here if you have any questions.
Yes, sir. Alan Atkins is here. He's involved with this as well. If there are any questions, or if he, being public hearing, wants to address.
I'll be happy to comment if there are any questions. This trailer court, my dad started somewhere in the neighborhood of
Alan, I'm sorry,
1955.
would you give your name and address for the
I will.
clerk?
My home address,
Yes.
Alan Atkins, 1972 Country Club Drive, Mexico, Missouri.
Thanks.
You bet. This court was started in the 50s, and to my knowledge, the property from where our office started at 403 Fairground all the way up through the trailer court has been zoned as light industry, and for some reason, and no one seems to know why, the little corner on the southeast side, which encompasses about where two trailers were, is R2 or R1, I'm not sure which. And before we conveyed the property to the help center, we thought it would be wise to have all of it zoned the same for them. That's the only reason for the request.
Okay. Any questions for Alan? Thank you, Alan. I move we close the public hearing.
Second.
Miller,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Bott,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Lesh,
Abstain.
Next is a resolution, bill number 2014-40, a resolution adopting a Parks Master Plan from Schaefer, Klein, and Warren Incorporated. For reading and passage. Bruce?
Yes, Your Honor. During the work session, council, you heard the overview of the plan, and I will ask Chad if he has any additional comments. Otherwise, Your Honor, we would recommend that council proceed with reading and passage of the resolution. And again, it is approving the professional preparation of the parks master plan, and all of the information within it be as part of, and will be incorporated in the city planning as we move forward.
I move for reading of bill number 2014-40.
Miller,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Bott,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Lesh,
Yes. Bill number 2014-40, a resolution adopting a Parks Master Plan from Schaefer, Klein, and Warren Incorporated, whereas the City of Mexico has contracted Schaefer, Klein, and Warren Incorporated to provide park system analysis services, and whereas the SKW has performed all contracted services and provide a final park system inventory and assessment document, and whereas the Mexico Park Board has reviewed and approved the final park system inventory and assessment and recommends the assessment to the City Council. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Mexico, Missouri as follows. Section 1, the City Council adopt the park system inventory and assessment from Schaefer, Klein, and Warren Incorporated as the current park master plan document for guiding the city in future park development and budget discussion. Section 2, this resolution shall be full force and effect from and after the time of its passage. Move for passage of bill number 2014-40.
Second.
Miller,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Bott,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Black,
Yes.
Bill number 2014-41, a resolution authorizing the city manager to sign a hangar lease with Jeff Frazier. Up for reading and passage.
Yes, Your Honor, to cover the details of the hangar lease, I will turn to Russell Runge.
Yes, hangar became available. The previous tenant had decided to purchase a hangar that better suited his needs. The hangar list that we keep had Mr. Balzer next on that. He declined the hangar. Mr. Fraser has accepted that pending your approval. This is a $90 per month lease on hangar number 10. Any questions? It's pretty straightforward. I recommend council proceed with reading and passage of the attached resolution.
I move for reading in bill number 2014-41.
Second.
Miller,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Bott,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Black,
Yes.
Bill number 2014-41, a resolution authorizing the city manager to sign a hangar lease with Jeff Frazier. Whereas the Mexico Memorial Airport currently has one hangar available for rent, and whereas a list of persons interested in renting airport hangars is maintained in the city manager's office, and the placement on the hangar list allows Jeff Frazier the opportunity to accept the hangar. Now therefore be it resolved by the council of the City of Mexico, Missouri as follows. Section 1, that the city manager be authorized to enter into a hangar lease on behalf of the City of Mexico with Jeff Frazier. A copy of the hangar lease is attached and marked as Exhibit A. Section 2, this resolution shall be in full force and effect from and after the time of its passage. I move for passage of bill number 2014-41.
Second.
Miller,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Bott,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Black,
Yes.
Next resolution is bill number 2014-42, a resolution authorizing the city manager to execute an agreement with J. Jacoby for the operation of the Mexico Memorial Airport. Up for reading and passage.
Yes, Your Honor. Every 3 years, we open up and accept proposals for the manager of the airport. And to cover the details of this contract, once again, I'll turn to Russell Runge.
Yes, we had a contract, have a contract currently with J. Jacoby. That's a 3-year agreement, expires shortly. We did advertise in the Ledger and on our website and received one proposal. That was from Mr. Jacoby. He did not change any of the parameters from his previous contract. As you can see on there, there weren't any changes in the numbers, the gasoline, fuel fees, etc. He's been with the city and in this capacity for 13 years and has really done a phenomenal job, in my opinion. He answers the call at any time to fill up planes and goes above and beyond the call in certain situations as far as I'm concerned. I recommend that council proceed with reading and passage of the attached resolution accepting the proposal from Mr. Jacoby for the management of the Mexico Memorial Airport. Questions?
I make a motion, I read bill number 2014-42.
Second.
Miller,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Bott,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Black,
Yes.
Bill number 2014-42, a resolution authorizing the city manager to execute an agreement with J. Jacoby for the operation of the Mexico Memorial Airport. Whereas J. Jacoby has submitted a request for proposal to manage the Mexico Memorial Airport, and whereas J. Jacoby has been the manager of the Mexico Memorial Airport for 13 years, and has operated the airport with reliability, has demonstrated excellent rapport with users of the facility, and has a broad knowledge of the airport facility present during capital improvement projects. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the State of Mexico, Missouri as follows. Section 1, that the city manager hereby authorized to enter into agreement with J. Jacoby to manage and operate the Mexico Memorial Airport. Section 2, This resolution shall be in full force and effect from and after the time of passage. I move for passage of bill number 2014-42.
Second.
Miller,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Bott,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Lush.
Yes.
Next is an ordinance, bill number 2014-43, an ordinance rezoning property located at 415 Fairground from R2 two-family dwelling to I1 light industrial, and amending the district map referred to in section 15-142 of the Code of the City of Mexico, Missouri zoning to I1 light industrial. Two readings by title only and passage.
Yes, Your Honor. Earlier this evening, we held a public hearing on this. Unless there are additional questions, Your Honor, we would recommend that council proceed with the two readings by title only and passage of the attached ordinance.
If there's no question, Your Honor, I move for first reading of the, of bill number 2014-43 by title only.
Second.
Miller,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Bott,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Lush.
Abstain since for the same reasons I gave earlier.
Bill number 2014-43, an ordinance rezoning property located at 415 Fairground and amending the district map referred to in section 15-142 of the Code of the City of Mexico, Missouri zoning to I-1 light industrial. Move for second reading of bill number 2014-43
Second.
by title only.
Miller,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Bott,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Lush.
Abstain.
Bill number 2014-43, an ordinance rezoning property located at 415 Fairground and amending the district map referred to in section 15-142 of the Code of the City of Mexico, Missouri zoning to I-1 light industrial. Your Honor, I move for passage of bill number 2014-43.
Second.
Miller,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Bott,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Lush.
Abstain.
Next ordinance is bill number 2014-44, an ordinance approving the final plat of Winterbower subdivision to the City of Mexico, Missouri. For two readings by title only and passage.
Yes, Your Honor. This subdivision is at 720 Platt Street. To cover the details of the subdivision, we will turn to Kenzie Russell.
Mr. and Mrs. Winterbauer own a tract of ground on Platt Street. They have a desire to split that into two lots. The existing home would be on one lot, and they plan to build an additional house on the second lot. Pursuant to our subdivision ordinance, this subdivision does have all the necessary infrastructure already in place, and so it is brought to you directly as a final plat, and the staff recommends that it be approved so that it can be recorded and Winterbowers can get their building permit and proceed.
Any question? Okay, I move for first reading by title only, bill number 2014-44.
Second.
Miller,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Bott,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Lush.
Yes. Bill number 2014-44, an ordinance approving the final plat of Winterbower subdivision to the City of Mexico, Missouri. Move for second reading by title only of bill number 2014-44.
Second.
Miller,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Bott,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Lush.
Yes. Bill number 2014-44, an ordinance approving the final plat of the Winterbower subdivision to the City of Mexico, Missouri. Move for passage of bill number 2014-44.
Second.
Miller,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Bott,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Lush.
Yes.
And next we have the claims.
Move we pay the claims.
Second.
Miller,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Bott,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Lush,
Yes.
Next up is council comments. Mr. Lesh.
Okay. Well, as was mentioned in our last meeting, I continue to get comments about the micro sealing. Apparently, it's just a vision thing, so I guess we'll see how it does over the next couple of years, see if it holds up. And I just tell them, well, we just have to try it. It's something new, and it doesn't maybe have the visual effect that we may be used to. It certainly costs a lot less than what we've been doing. So anyway, just wanted to pass that along. Brian, I do thank you for coming this evening and spelling out what's happening with this plan. And certainly we're disappointed, but I truly understand. You don't have enough money, and you got so many miles of road you got to maintain. So appreciate you coming, though. Thank you. That's all I have.
I would echo the new micro seal. Well, again, I would also echo, I think it's the visual. People are not used to seeing everything underneath. When we've done micro seal in the past, it looks like just a new road. And I also would like to thank Brian. I know it's a tough sell. I know it is. But I appreciate you coming in and telling us the details. That's all I got.
Councilman Nichols.
I also have to commend MoDOT for the representative they put in Mexico. You've been very friendly and very knowledgeable every time I ask you a question. Appreciate that. Kenzie, we have a very happy individual on the corner of Francis and Gray Street with the ditch. He said that it may not run like a river, but he said it drains. So he's very appreciative. He wanted to thank everybody that worked on it. Beside the town branch on Buchanan between Quantico and Fairground, there is a hole that can swallow up a kid. So I noticed it about 2 minutes before I come to the meeting. That's why I was a little bit late, but it's washing out pretty bad. And I was in my backyard. I had a friend there from Australia last week for the 2 weeks. And Saturday before last, I was in the backyard and I heard the roar of the engines from the junior high clear from the 4-H center. So we went to the truck and tractor pull. And they were expecting kind of a low turnout. They were completely dumbfounded by the turnout. One guy estimated probably 4,000 people. The food stand was opened from the time they opened to the time they closed. It was nonstop, 20, 30 people in line all the time. It was a very large event from Mexico. It drew a lot of people in. And I don't think, did we get any complaints about the noise at all? That really amazed me that we had complaints about when they had the Relay for Life at the junior high. Yeah. But then when you hear it from the 4-H clear in town, nobody said the words. But it was a very, very big event. And they pulled it off. They did a good job out there. Everything they ran just as smooth as could be. So that's all I have.
Councilman Miller.
Well, Brian, again, thank you for coming tonight. Appreciate all the work that MoDOT does. I know it, like Ron said, you have so much money and you're not making the decisions, or else you'd get everything that we wanted, I'm sure. Kenzie, I wanted to bring up how much we appreciate the repairs out on Summer Ridge. The water has dried up and gone.
Well, we need to credit Missouri American some there. They did the work. They fixed the leaks.
Yes. I would still like to see some attention given to that drainage ditch along the sides of the road on North Missouri Street, 400 and 500 block. They've got some problems up there. It's grown through, the water's filled up, or the silt has filled up in there. There just isn't a drainage ditch in some parts of it. The chief comments that were made to me this week by people who come up and would talk, first of all, was an appreciation, Chief, for the number of traffic arrests that was reported in the paper. They feel like that we're really doing something about traffic, and a lot of people really appreciate that, especially the speeding violations. The second, and I got this a lot, we need at least one more day open for the grass and brush waste site. The number of days we have is just not enough, and it's too crowded the few days that it's open. I get that quite frequently. Kenzie, I wanted to ask about the basin out there at the YMCA, the runoff basin. that's grown up pretty good with grass and weeds. Do we cut that, or we leave it, or what do we do with it?
That's a shared area of parkland with the YMCA has part of that, and we have part of that park in their lease. And
Okay,
so
should we cut our head?
We're getting ours cut. They're struggling with some of it because when the contractor graded that basin, it wasn't graded 100% correctly, and there's a portion of it that's holding the water right now.
Okay.
So the forebay we're working on is going to supply some of the dirt. We need to fix that. And then when we...
Yes, so some of it is below the culvert level. I
Yes.
understand that, and that
Yeah.
shouldn't be.
Yeah, and so we're working with them to get all that addressed.
Okay.
So,
Mr. City Manager, about 12 or 13, maybe 14 years ago, the City of Mexico commissioned a study to decide if we needed any more fire stations, and if so, where. There was a lot of work done on that. Some property was offered to us to build a fire station out on Teal Lake Extension. And then for some reason, I suspect now, as I recall it, it was probably financial. We just didn't pursue it. I would like to see that pursued. I realize that the study is 12 and 14 years old, but I think there's still a need for it. And I'd like to see if we could look into that, maybe resurrect the old study and talk about this a little bit. That's the end of my comments. Thank you.
Mr. City Manager?
I don't have anything else this evening. Thank you.
I too would like to echo Brian. Thank you for coming, and thank you for your comments. And it's a tough crowd when you're not bringing us anything.
No meat on the plate.
Kenzie, the Huntingfield Bridge, is it ready to go? Is it going out for bid? Has it gone out for bids? or-
It will be advertised this coming Wednesday.
Okay. And what is what's the projected
We'll
start date?
advertise for 3 weeks, then bring it to you all for contract award, assuming that we get bids that we expect. And the contract has 70 calendar days for the construction in it, so we're 3 weeks advertising, probably another 3 weeks getting contract insurance bonds executed, and then a little over 2 months for allowed for construction. So it should happen yet this construction season before the end of the year.
Okay. All right, thank you. Next, we have public comments. And if you'd like to comment, please come to the podium, give your name and address for the record, and keep your comments to a maximum of 3 minutes. So,
my name is Donnie Kofer, once again, 600 North Washington. I appreciate the effort. Once again, y'all have been up and run the machinery up and down, filled up the ruts. I'd like to propose that we do something for the tax-paying Americans on my block. I mean, it's washing out every rain we get. Quarter-inch rain, it's washed out. They got equipment up there, they're fixing it, which is great, better than ever we had before. But mind you, we need that grant, we need something done. I mean, I've gone on and on and on. People get tired of hearing me. I bet they get sick of seeing it in the newspaper. But I'm telling you, it needs to be done. Everybody on that street, I think there's only one retiree on that street. Everybody else is a tax-paying American. And we're getting nothing for it. I mean, we're getting y'all dragging gravel up the road. Rick Gilbert and myself, we live at the bottom of the hill. The water's still running over our sidewalk. You fixed it up the street, haven't done anything for Rick and I don't know if it's because I'm a squeaky wheel and I don't get anything done for me, which I can halfway understand that. No one likes a squeaky wheel. But, I mean, everybody on that street has paid taxes. I called the courthouse and I asked them if I could get a record of how much every house on that block is paid in taxes. For instance, my house is in 1941. How many dollars in taxes has that house paid? All up and down that street how many dollars worth of taxes has the city of Mexico gotten from us being productive citizens, going to work every day, raising our families, you know, paying taxes all these years for everything, for everyone else? The housing authority right now, they're getting new windows in a bunch of houses. And I'm sorry, I don't mean to be rude. Those people are not paying taxes. We are. I want something for my money. You know, it's getting ridiculous. It really is. I mean, and it's the nation, the whole nation's that way. It's something for nothing for everybody. Well, sooner or later, there's going to be a big rebellion because people want something for their money. And my block is one of them. Now, y'all can do anything you want with the ledger. I mean, I'm not here to be a big hoopla or whatever, but I'm telling you, people are getting sick of it. And we'd really, really like to see something done. We asked for a grant, you know, nothing's really come of it, and I realize that takes a lot of time, and I realize Rita's not here tonight to defend herself, and I'm not trying to be that way. But, you know, we really want something for our money, and there is a definite problem. You know, I hear about Francis and Gray and all that, and that doesn't do anything for us in our block. It really doesn't. You know, we have a problem there, and it needs to be addressed, and we've definitely paid for it. I've been in that house for 17 years myself. My wife's been in there for 20 years. She's paid taxes that long, but it's been there since 1941, and it needs to be addressed.
Thanks, Donnie.
Thank you all.
My name's Thomas Fiedler. I live at 1617 Meadow Lane here in Mexico. Wanted to just reiterate the last city council meeting a couple weeks back mentioned the open carry law, wanting to get that reviewed. Don't know what the process is on that and how long I'm supposed to wait before I ask again. So I'll ask again, kind of less formally because I didn't bring it all written out for me to read again. But if we could get that at least reviewed and taken a look at. The other thing I want to talk about, since it was brought up, was the sales tax increase. And just keep in mind, whenever you guys are talking about that, Mexico, Missouri sales tax goes to 9.35%. That's quite a high tax percentage. I mean, you're almost at 10 cents for every dollar spent. It's a whole lot to try to keep people from saying, well, maybe I should just drive to Fulton. I mean, right now there are people who start to think that because the tax rate is high, you know. So you're not just moving money from, or getting more money in the community, you're actually sending that money outside because people are going to say eventually, hey, I don't need to spend the money here. The other places are closer and it'd actually be cheaper and worth the drive. So I know that that's not something you guys can all control, and I've already started working with a couple other groups around the state that have that are working on trying to make sure everybody's aware of this, because it's going to be up to public vote, and that's something that by addressing it here as well, maybe more people will become aware of that and say, hey, wait a second, you guys need to go out and need to vote against this, or else that's what's going to happen here in town, and that's on your groceries, your things you need to survive. The tax goes up on that, so it hits you immediately. I'm getting close on time, so I'll stop there. Thank you.
Thanks, Thomas.
Can I add something?
No,
Just so you know that I'm going to come to MoDOT's defense for you. That does not apply to food and stuff. Their tax does not, correct?
That is correct. The state
Yeah.
sales tax does not apply to food, medicine, and gasoline.
Yeah, just so you know. And I do agree with the sales tax, and what happens is, and it's something that I'm sure the legislature's talked about is, and we as a city have talked about is, it pushes people to do more online sales where you can pay no tax on some stuff.
Yeah,
So-
that will.
Any other public comments? Seeing none, I move we adjourn.
I second.
Miller,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Bott,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Left.
Yes.